so glad you joined us today. This is All Things Business Book Review. We're reviewing the greatest networker in the world, and we're going through chapter 13, 14, and 15. So we're going to complete the book today. It was a powerful book. It's a great book. You don't even have to be in network marketing to appreciate it, to enjoy it. The stories are fantastic. You could be in insurance, you could be in real estate, or you could be in a traditional business to enjoy the book. So we are so fortunate and happy that you guys joined us. And don't forget Amazon. My book just came out. Lots for Mindset to Wealth on Amazon right now. So go get a copy. It just came out almost a month now. And we thank you all for those who've gotten the book already. But tonight I'm joined in the studios. We're joined around the country. We've got Miss Kathleen Williams in Sacramento, California. Are you there, dear?
Yes, I am. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good to have you. You look beautiful. We also have Miss Rutherford. Miss Rutherford, are you there out in Ohio? Good evening.
I certainly am. So happy to join you all.
Good. Glad to have you. We got up in Connecticut, Miss Jackie Black in Connecticut.
Good evening, everyone. So glad to be with you today.
I'm glad you joined us today. And we also got a Fresno, California, the great Mr. Harrison Mills. Sir, how you doing?
Good. Happy March to everyone.
Yeah. I see you got sunlight out in the backyard. So
we do. So
I know next week the time changes next week, so it'll be lighter longer. So
I know.
Yeah. All right. With that said, let's get into our book. We're in the ending closing chapter. We're going to start with chapter 13 together. Folks around the country, around the world, we thank you for tuning in. We hope you got a blessing out of the book. And if you got the book, come join us. If not, just sit back and pay attention and listen to some of the good stuff we got out here. Some great nuggets. So we're going to go to chapter 13 on page 113. I'm going to start off by they were teaching teachers. I love the first paragraph when he asked them, do you know how to play billiards? And he says, what's billiards? He says, billiards is a game you play with no pockets. 3 balls and 2 white balls, 1 red ball. And he went into discovering about the game of billiards. And I thought it was pretty neat. On the next page over, he would talk about the table had an happy 30th anniversary on it. So let's do this. Let's go over Miss Kathleen Williams. What do you get out of the first couple pages there?
The first couple of pages, for me, showed that the writer had discovered that there were 2 greatest networkers, and one was greater than the other. And the one he thought was the greatest was under the other one. And it also went on to show that the greatest networker, was definitely a teacher. And it didn't have to just deal with networking. It dealt with life.
Great. Thank you. And which one of the 2 did you like, of the 2 that's the greatest networkers?
I'm partial.
Okay. All right. All right. Miss Rutherford, what'd you get out of the first couple pages there?
Well, what I got out of it, I've been around the pool table all my life. I never knew that there was a difference between billiards and pool. And with all the Minnesota Fats and other billiard games that were on TV, nobody ever broke that down to me exactly like that.
Yeah, it's a difference. There's a difference in pool and a difference in billiards. Thank you, dear, for that. Miss Jackie Black?
Yes, I have to agree with Miss Rutherford. I played pool, and I didn't know there was a difference between pool and billiards. I was like, what? And even these first couple of pages, again, he brings us into what he's seeing. And it's just amazing. And again, the 2 teachers, as well as they're having a conversation as he's being taught. That's what I enjoyed as well.
That's so good. They have a great conversation there. I'm going to go over to his wife, Rachel, and love the idea that Rachel's father was pretty stern, and he just kind of, he found out that Rachel was kind of fond of him, and he took him under his wings a little bit. And I like how he gave her a car at 16 years old. She wanted a brand new vet. And I love how he did. He went out and got the vet for her and gave her the box with the key in it. And he had the vet tore down, just take it apart and put back. And well, I'll let Mr. Mills kind of excite you on that. So.
Oh, well, it sounds like you did already have said that was pretty good. I don't know if to put a car like that together at 16. wow. And this is a lady, by the way, to the point where, you don't have to depend on no man, type of deal. I got this kind of like, type of deal. But here's the other thing I want to add before that. I'm just going to comment on that. This man believes in marriage. That's a good thing in scripture. So I said I need to upgrade my friends. Presented to Anthony and Rebecca, happy 30th anniversary. I probably got a stick of gum, is what I'm thinking. So I need to upgrade my friends, to something else, So that's stuck out to
Wow.
me. Now we have the car, a 16, you can show this kid this beautiful car, and all of a sudden breaks it all a piece in the right way to put back together again, and that you have to do this. There's your car, it's sitting right in front of you. I would have been so frustrated. I would have been so frustrated, and because I'm saying, and now I'm laughing. My father's a mechanic, but he didn't teach me any of this stuff. So I feel like it's something he would have done to me in that same
Yeah,
instance.
there
So
you go.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Thank you. I'm going to kind of continue on that vein with this car for a second. On the bottom paragraph of page 115, folks out there around the world following us, and I'll read it. On her 16th birthday, he gave her a small gift wrapped box, and inside is the key to a new Corvette and a phone number on a piece of paper for the gentleman that could help her put it all back together. Now, why did he think Miss Catherine, why do you think he broke the car apart and did that? Why do you think he did that?
To teach her appreciation. She is the only, earlier there was a comment made that her father saw her as his son, and that's what he would have done for a son. And he's making no exception for a daughter.
Right. That's
And
so true.
I have to be honest, I think it was a great idea personally.
Yeah, I think it's marvelous because as we read on, she appreciated the car much more
Mm-hmm.
and held it for a long, long period of time. And he said on page 116, the third paragraph, he says it was in hundreds of pieces. And he bought the car and he had the mechanic take it apart and gave her the number to the gentleman to do it. And he gave her the number to the mechanic would help her put the car back together. It took her, it's on the second paragraph on the bottom of the page, it took her 4 months and nights and weekends, but she put it together and she drove the car for over 17 years. Because, yeah, that's a good point. He wanted to appreciate what she had. And then that way she could assemble it and take the time and put the love into it to have something that she could enjoy. What do you have to say about that, Ms. Rutherford?
What I have to say is, I was named Marvetta because I am not anatomically Marvin. Yet, it's the truth. I mean, my parents thought it was cute, because it was part of my dad's name and part of my mom's name. So I kind of get that part. I also get the part because when I was younger, I'd like to go get model cars and put them together. Aha, as you say, Mr. Thomas. But that had an instruction sheet. Now, she didn't have Google. She didn't have Zoom. She didn't have none of that. You talk about the tenacity and the mindset of putting this puppy together. And see, it felt like 4 years when I started. Oh my God, the girl gonna be 21 by the time she get the car together. But she did it. And she did it well. And as we see, she drove it for 17 years.
Yes.
So there are a lot of people who buy cars fresh off the showroom floor and it don't last 17 years. So
yeah. She loved, thank you for that. She learned how to take care of it. She had learned to appreciate it. And here's another part. If it broke down, she knew how to fix it.
That
There you
part.
go.
Mhm.
I love that part. I'm going to skip over to page 118. Let's see here. I'm sorry, 117. He talked about he wasn't into cars, but he was into shotguns, and him and Rachel would go shooting together. And then it said on page 118, he says, don't lose your focus when you're planning so far ahead. So he was teaching the young man some ideas, some skills. And it says, focus on the larger things in life and make sure that you see the big picture. He says, that's also how you build momentum. See it. He says, teaching teachers is a good example. Miss Jackie Black.
Yes, Mr. Thomas, teaching teachers is a good example. As I was reading this, I was thinking about you have to plan ahead. Even in the
Yeah.
game of chess, you think
Mm.
2, 3, 4 moves ahead. And we have master chess players that they think even more moves ahead than that. And it was also showing how you have to stretch yourself to see the big picture.
Hmm.
And you're in it for the long term. You're in it for the long term. I
Right.
was sharing earlier how I was in a teaching moment this evening. A friend of mine was preparing a meal, a good soup, Jamaican soup. Oh, you have to
Yeah,
taste
man.
some.
Yeah, man.
And part of it was even visualizations. And as she was teaching me, it was a step at a time. But also, I was able to feel and smell what was going on, cutting the different vegetables, etc., that go into it. And same with this, teaching teachers to be a good example. You're showing them by doing, but not doing it for them.
That's right.
Teach them to do it yourself as well. I could go on, but I'm a
Do
let
it
Mr.
with them.
Mills.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, dear. Appreciate that. Miss Harrison Mills, I'm going to drop down on page 119, like the second paragraph. He says, when it came to understand how the business worked, that it depended upon your ability to effectively sponsor people who knew how to teach people how to teach other people. So it's really like monkey see, monkey do. I tag, it's like I call it a game of tag. I teach you, then you teach 2 or 3 more, then they'll teach 2 or 3 more. Go ahead, Mr. Mills. I know you got a lot to say.
Hey, that is the business right there, and that is, I don't even know, call it, I won't call it a gimmick. I'm going to call it structure the skill of actually training someone else. Yeah, I can do everything. I can do everything, but do I want to do everything? And how long do I want to do that?
Yeah.
But once you start already teaching someone else how to do this same thing, give them that same passion, give them that same vision, something larger kind of thing, I get to the point where I'm like this, and I can actually remove myself. Because someone else, not only do I have one person, I have 3 or 4 people doing the same exact thing, speaking the same, a carbon copy of the same way. That's the business.
Hmm. That's so true, sir. Thank you. That's very valuable. Thank you for bringing that to the forefront on the table tonight. I'm gonna skip down like the last big paragraph on the page 119. He talked about he's there to help people discover and reveal their own values, what's really important to them, and that's what I loved about the network. He took time out to get into what his whys or his reason for doing it, and he also said it's very rare. I'll say this again: it's very rare to come across 1 or 2 folks who are self-motivated, who really understand network marketing, people sales, and unique ways of doing in this business. And he was talking about that's a rare bird, he says, to find people who are self-motivated. You don't have to push them along. You don't have to call them for me. I mean, that is ideal. But everything else, we have to teach people these skills because they don't come equipped with them. So I think this is very
Conversation within
powerful.
itself.
Yeah, and he talked about the last sentence. He says, for the most part, you're looking, you'll be working with unexperienced people, turning them into professionals. It's a new way of learning, and so it's taking time out to help people develop those skills that they need to succeed in network marketing. Miss Kathleen Williams, go ahead and comment. I can tell.
It reminds me of when I was a nurse and had all these young nurses under me. It becomes a see, do, teach them to do. They've got it all the book knowledge, but they don't have the hands-on. And the same thing is true here.
Mm-hmm.
You can have all of the knowledge, but unless you see someone put the knowledge into action, it's just knowledge and not worth much.
Yeah, so true, so true. And the next page on 120, talk about professional teachers. He says that I love this next paragraph. He says he taught him to pause, close his eyes, and create the picture that he wanted. And I think being a good sponsor, a good leader, you want to cast vision on people to see the possibilities, what they could do. And I think at the end of the next chapter or 2, we're going to go into that a little bit more. But it's so important, so important. Ms. Rutherford.
It is important. And I had mentioned about a woman that I had spoken with back in the fall. And I told her, I says, I've talked to thousands of people, but I remember the vision you cast to me of having tiny homes for the homeless. I said that was your reason why you wanted to do something different. And I'll tell you something, when people are able to impress upon you the things that they want to see manifested in their lives, and they do it in such a way that you retain it, because I talk to people all the time, but I remember her vision. I remembered what she wanted to see manifested. So that's the power of closing our eyes and opening up our imagination, just like having that childlike quality that we used
Mm-hmm.
to have. We have to go back and get it.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Thank you. Kind of like we did Saturday evening. I had that. Everybody closed their eyes Saturdays and visualize that trip down to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
That was powerful. That was powerful. I'm going to go down a little bit on the page, and he talked about he was going to learn music, and his teacher gave him some sheet of music to play, and he couldn't get it. And then he next week gave him something a little harder. He couldn't get it. And the next week gave him something even harder than that one. He couldn't get it. And it was every piece he put in front of him was harder and harder, just twice as hard. And at the end of the bottom of the page here, he says, finally, so he was upset and frustrated, and he exploded he exploded all over the teacher. Why is this? Why? And the teacher says, he pulled out the first sheet and said, play it. He did it. Pulled out the next one. He played it. So he was preparing him, like the Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. But he didn't understand he was learning how to play the music at that time. Go ahead. Who did I leave off with? Miss Jackie Black.
Oh, Mr. Thomas, when I was reading this, I just had to smile because that teacher, he was very smart and he was teaching them in a unique way. Gave him something hard, not something easy. The young man went home, practiced, came back the next day. He was expecting that same sheet music, but it was something harder than the first one. And that kept going. And then when the student couldn't take it, what is this? Basically he said, I've been practicing and practicing. And how many of us do that as well? Then he said, okay, the first one, play it. And the young man played it skillfully.
Yeah.
Apply it to ourselves. We have to stretch ourselves. Sometimes we don't know we're being stretched by that teacher,
Right.
that
So true.
professional, using the different skills that he or she has developed over the years. But it's working for our good. And this is what that teacher was teaching the student. And I just read and I was shaking my head. And he was playing it skillfully.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen that are listening around the world today, think about whatever industry you're in. Are you practicing your skills to get better? Are you practicing at home? Are you practicing your skills? Are you sharp? The Bible says iron sharpen iron. Are you sharpening your iron? Or are you just waiting for the next event? Are you good enough to do the presentation, whatever industry you're in? So practice, 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 practice. But you got to get good at it. Mr. Harrison Mills, I'm going to jump over to page 121, I'm also in the second paragraph. He said he was amazed. He said, I left. He said, why did you teach me this way? And this is what he said, and I quote. He says, Robert, if I left you on your own device, you would still be practicing that very first lesson, and you wouldn't be able to do it right. He says, did you? So he showed him that by him doing it and lift them in every week to a different way of doing the music, a harder one. As he practiced them all, he got very good at it, and I love this part of it. Mr. Mills.
I love it. And really that is those last two sentences in that paragraph. He didn't care about your playing one piece. He cared about him playing, play. And skillfully, as Miss Jackie Black said, like you probably can do one piece and master it. But see, I'm not worried. I know you can do that. I want you to play. And if you're going to play, you're going to play, And hey, when I say I appreciate it, I say this, I went and did what was it, a private business reception for someone that asked me to do one for them, and I didn't think I was prepared at all. I didn't think I was prepared. I got up just like, and so I'm like, now for myself I can do it. I have no problem, no problem. But for someone else, I was like, I didn't know I was ready for it. And I credit this from the teaching of Mr. Al Thomas. I definitely do that because I was being stretched, didn't even know it. I was already ready for it to be hard, and I was like, blah, 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 blah. I was like, wow, look at you, Harrison.
It's all psychological, sir. It's all psychological. You already had it in you. Same thing with this lesson. Wow, thank you. That was great. It was a fantastic story you talked about. And then you talked about how if I teach you how to fish, then you can fish for the rest of your life rather than give you a fish, which I thought was powerful. And then he said he was a whole business about network marketing, or any business is about stretching. He says the whole business of stretching, going beyond your comfort zone. And you just hit that, Mr. Mills. You're in your comfort zone doing it for yourself. When somebody asks you, you didn't think you were ready. So you stretched and got out of your comfort zone and know you already had it in you. You were ready. So he says the students were stretched far beyond where he himself would have gone all by himself. But he had to teach him the lesson how to do that. Boy, that was a great teacher. I love to have this guy in my network marketing business. Miss Williams.
Amen. Because yes, he could teach anybody how to do any kind of business by stretching them, and they don't even realize they're being stretched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, dear. Thank you. I'm going to drop down to page 122. The bottom there was so good. I mean, we talk about the whole page if you want to, but this was so good about the Karate Master, how he says when you hit the board, the cracks, and I was watching Bruce Lee a couple days ago, when you look at cracking these boards and these bricks, excuse me, he says, do you concentrate on the top of the brick? He goes, no, I concentrate on the bottom brick. Well, I said, wow, this is very powerful. So he went into that a little bit. What did you get out of that, Ms. Rutherford?
Well, it's about where you center your attention, where you center your energy. And so that bottom board was the board that had the vulnerability. And through practice or whatever, he discerned that. So why tear your hand up if you don't have to? If you don't have to, why not? Hit where you know it's weak.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Thank you, dear. I'm going to go to page top of 123. And he was talking about whatever it is, it's a product. You got to use whatever company you're involved with. If it's a product company, use the product. Talk about the product no matter where you go. Let people understand the blessings and why you're using the product. If it's a service business, talk about the service that you do. And talk about the savings you can help people. This is so important. Know the compensation plan. A lot of people don't know the compensation plan of the company they're with. It could be an insurance company. People don't understand it's something to be real estate, or a network marketing. But understand the marketing plan, and also understand have a respect and a pride in network marketing itself. It's very important to understand your industry, folks. No matter what industry you're in there around the world, no matter whatever industry you're in, be up on and knowing what it takes. Ms. Bly.
Yes, it's important to know it for yourself. And if you're dealing with products, to use them for yourself or services, because someone will ask you, gee, do you have, I'll use, for example, phone service. Are you using that phone service yourself? If you say no, that kind of messes up your credibility too.
Yeah.
And when that person you're trying to teach to succeed and you're not using it yourself, come on now. It's like, if you believe strongly, there's ladies on this call. I'll say if you like red lipstick, okay? And that's one of your products, but you're always wearing brown. Come on now. And you're talking to someone about red lipstick and you're wearing brown? What does that say about you? You're not going to believe anything that person is saying. That may be a silly example, but I think the point is clear.
Mm-hmm.
And you're teaching others to succeed by doing it yourself. Just like yourself, Mr. Thomas, the different things you teach us daily on daily calls. And when you say, do you have any questions? You're sincere about that. And you say, I could tell you that because I've been there. I've done it. And that's why I could instill that in you. And you could be successful too.
Man,
With
you got me fired up with that. Thank you.
I'm fired up tonight, Mr. Thomas. These were some powerful chapters.
I could tell they are. And I love halfway down the page, he's talking about in your business, you must take a stand for the people you sponsor. I don't care if you're in insurance, I don't care if you're in real estate, I don't care if you're in network marketing, you have to take a stand. In other words, be there as a champion for that person until they get up on their feet. Be there to teach them everything they need, help them become a champion. That is how I always looked at anybody I personally sponsored, anything. I'm there to help you build. Now, if you roll your sleeves and go to work and give me the permission, because I might have to push you a little bit, give me that permission, but I want to help you be successful. And I love this. And he also said at the last paragraph at the bottom of the page, it said that's another benefit of working on your habits of belief. And so many people just come in most industries with no belief factor because they've been knocked down to what they can't have, they can't become their whole life. You'll never amount to none. You're like your uncle, you're like your daddy, whatever. And their beliefs are so messed up. The first thing is personal development. If I could put a speaker here and a speaker there on people's heads for the first 30 days, oh my God, for personal development, oh, I would do it. Miss Harrison Mills.
I was sitting here listening. I was going to let you continue. Good information there. I just say this is a way of actually creating posture. And I didn't see it until right now, but we've always been talking about, even with self-development, creating posture for ourselves. But you also need to create posture for your team, because they might need your posture. They need to borrow your posture because they have lack of. They need to borrow your posture. So you have to have a strong backbone, not just for yourself, but for your team. You need to advocate for them
that posture
in this sense. Have a place of being to advocate for their behalf, and so that you actually have enough that they can borrow. This is another place of giving.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's so true. Let's go over to chapter 14. It says, what's your next steps? And I'm going to go halfway down the page, and he was there 2 days, and they were outside walking around, him and his wife holding hand to hand, and they were quite a handsome couple, beautiful, powerful, successful, and yet so real, so wonderful human beings. And all he wanted them to do is learn from him, and his wife and his family wife was there. I thought that was so amazing. So amazing. Miss Kathleen Williams.
Yes, and not only is it amazing, it's also an example of showing people what you can get by following the leaders and expanding your horizon and expanding your dreams and expanding your beliefs.
Not only that, but being a good role model in and off court, in and out of network marketing, being a good role model, seeing the balance he had with his family, being around his house to see how he actually lived. There's so much into this book. Being in a house where they had the horses out and the nice lawns and the swans. I mean, it's just showing him a different life. And I love this part. And on page 126, the second paragraph, he says, new habits and new friends. That's what Rachel said. Because when you develop somebody, you're taking on, that's a friendship. That's somebody you're going to be spending time with and developing. I had a meeting today with a lady from one of the churches I attend. I go to 3 different churches. And she said, I need to know who you are, what you do. And I just shared with her, she's a new friend today. She sees me and we had a little, coffee. But it was amazing because as you develop people, you develop your own personal network. Your network gives you an attitude of your net worth. And a lot of people don't have a network because they haven't stretched themselves to become more than what they could be. And with that said, I'm going to Miss Rutherford. Yeah.
Yes.
What you got out of that?
Well, out of what part? Because, it talks about new habits and new friends. And, there's nothing wrong with some of the people that we've acquired through life. But it's just like anything else. As you evolve in the person that you're becoming. Okay, I've been Marvetta my whole life, but I'm not the same Marvetta as I was 10 years ago. God, I'm not the same Marvetta as I was 40 years ago. And I'm so thankful that I'm not.
Yeah.
And I don't know who the Marvetta of 10 years from now will be, but I guarantee you she will not be the same. Now, I will take accumulative things with me as I go, but there'll be other things that I discard. So what I got from this was that the greatest networkers had allowed this man into their lives, into their day-to-day life, and not just the husband and the wife. Kazuko was also a great networker in her own right, in
Oh
her
yeah.
own country. So, he had all this exposure, and it's been said that you are the sum total of the five people that you spend time with. Well, those were three. See? And at the end of the day, he longed to be with his wife and his family, and that's from
Yeah.
the single person.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah,
I love the thank you. That's a good one. And he talked about the new habits, and he said pick a scene. In other words, pick a scene in your movie that you want to have in your life, your movie theater in your mind. Pick a scene and see what you want. And then he went down a little bit further. Says, what are your commitments? He says, wow, my wife, my children, myself, and I'm committed to being being successful in this business. So here again, he told himself that's what he wanted to do. And a lot of people say it, but they don't put the effort in to stretch themselves, to learn how to do the presentation, to learn the marketing plan, to use the services, to talk to people. Or they hold back thinking they're going to talk to one person to make them wealthy. No, you got to get out there and go through the numbers. And that's what I loved about this. I'm going to leap over to page 127, the second paragraph. He said, I thought about making an appointment because he learned by watching the kids play ball, and he learned something. And now I love this right here on the second paragraph. I thought about making an appointment with my wife and my kids, having my children coach me. I love it. Have them coach me how to have fun. And a lot of adults don't have fun. When I see people in the supermarket somewhere, they don't look like they're smiling. I always walk up to them. I say, hey, the war's almost over. And I'll smile. It's people are so uptight about stuff they got no control over.
that's right.
God, it's I don't watch the news because it's all negative.
Mhm.
So here again,
Mm-mm.
having his children make an appointment, have his children coach him how to have fun, because a lot of adults don't have fun no more. The little kid in them will come out, and he said to play together with them, rolling down the hill, falling in leaves, and Disney World, and riding together, taking pictures with the characters, with Goofy. I've done all that too, and making fun in the snow and skiing lessons and just different laughing and hugging and holding hands and reading them stories and kissing them goodnight. These are so important, but people don't structure. They work. But God, what's your family? One time you turn off the switch and take time with your wife and your family.
Mhm.
Anyway, Miss Black, I'm sorry.
Oh boy. This paragraph here is all about visualization, and it's
Yep.
taking him back to before when he closed his eyes and picturing, what he would do, who he would do it with, places they would go, activities they would do. And this is what we do in business today. Close your eyes and visualize. Don't just keep them wide open and look. Close them. As you mentioned on Saturday, we did that exercise, going to the Bahamas, being on a plane, feeling when you're out and feeling the air on you, the breeze, feeling the sunshine. This makes it real to each of us when we take a moment to do that. How many
Yes.
people take a moment to do that in the course of your daily activities,
Yeah.
in the
Thank
course
you.
of your week?
That's
This
right.
is a must to do, because then as you're pushing toward your goal, you say, yep, I want to be successful. Take those moments. Close your eyes. The people that are important to you, your family, your children, grandchildren, whatever your reason why is, grab hold of it and close your eyes and picture that. I pictured my grandchildren with me going to the Bahamas and enjoying everything and saying, that's why Jackie works
You
hard
are fired up
in her
tonight, young lady.
business. Because I want to see them succeed. But they're looking at me saying, okay, how is Nana doing with her business? Yes, her
Right. They're
business is
watching you.
even named after me, EZZ Essentials. They
Right.
pay attention to the little things.
Right.
What are we paying attention to?
Yeah. It's important for those that around the world is watching today. I did a visualization training on this past Saturday where everybody closed their eyes, visualizing a trip, and we're all going to take a private jet down, and It was a great session. So this fits a lot because you want to know, you want to see people to see the vision of their future. You want to see them and make the motion picture in your mind your success. What does that look like? You're living. What are you driving? Where are you going? Where are you taking your family? These are important things. I mean, before I bought my first plane, I visualized it and I saw it. When I bought my first the big mansion, an acre, garden. I mean, I visualized. I pull up. I told agents in my house, you had never seen the inside. Well, I already had it here. I knew it was my house, and it had 3 pyramids on it, 1 on the front and 2 on the circle driveway. I said, yeah, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost is mine. But anyway, I'm going to go a little bit further here. And then I love the part when he came home and he says, he was pitching, halfway down the page, it says there were pictures of my making dates with Kathy for romantic Italian dinners and getaway weekends, seeing her in new outfits, bright and beautiful, looking gorgeous, people stopping and staring and looking at her. I mean, made him proud. I mean, these are the things that, going to Europe and getting that diamond, that deep, bright, green emerald ring that she always wanted. I mean, he is now seeing him doing it. And I think a lot of times we always have, you don't have to see it for you believe it. Just start the belief level in the mind and start sharing. And then he just talked about, these are the things I want to do. And he saw himself in the last sentences. I saw myself dressed in a new Italian suit, English, with real buttonholes made with super nice material. Oh my God, Mr. Harrison Mills, take me away.
Man.
Bright tie, matching my handkerchief, elegant with gold Rolex, shaking hands and seeing people out of the corner of my eyes, pointing at me and talking about me. And I saw himself in Japan, and oh my God, Mr. I'm sorry. Let me.
No. I'm just listening. Hey, this man went from his vision was this. At the beginning of the book, this is my last meeting.
Yeah.
And now I'm cascading the tulips with my wife to the point where he sees her as the investment. He sees trips long. His whole vision has changed, and he would not have seen it without having a matched energy.
Yeah.
Which this man took the time to elevate his energy to the point of what he can see now is nothing else. He's flying on a whole nother level of where he's at, kind of thing. And this is just kind of showing me who are you hanging out with? Who am I hanging out with?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who do I need to change? I need to change my energy. It's almost like that Showtime at Apollo, and everyone go rub that rock or rub that wood before they come out. You remember that? Everyone rub the wood before they come out, and so you come out and then you do your song kind of thing. But it was almost in the sense of where you better, even to the point where they'll say, "Hey, you better go rub the wood," kind of thing. And so I say that because sometimes I see Mr. Thomas and I'm like this. I'm coming to rub that wood for a second. You just never know. You just never know. It's the energy. What kind of energy are you going? And not only that, but not just the teaching, but it's also a vibe. There's a vibe you need to feel along with it. You can learn all you want to. I can teach you I'm dead in the face. But if you don't have that vibe, that posture, that at all, you learn nothing.
Right.
Walk in it.
I love it. Thank you, sir. Halfway on that page 128, it says he started visualizing. He conjured up pictures of him speaking to groups of people about network marketing, sitting, speaking, earnest, been honest with them, and answered all their questions. I saw myself teaching people, reaching out to them, caring about them, for them. That's so powerful. Revealing their dreams. Oh my God. Showing them the way, accomplishing their goals that they never ever imagined were possible before. I saw myself as an inspiration for people, proof that they could do it too. Look at me. I saw myself telling them, if I can do it and succeed, so can you out there around the world. Just change your belief. Oh my God, that was rich, Miss Kathleen Williams. Woo!
The ending of this book is so rich, and this chapter is, it's totally rich. But the thing is for me is that it's like, as I shift all of my negativity and kick it out and load on the positivity onto the weights in my faith, this is what's possible. And he's showing everybody what's possible.
Thank you, dear. And I like the last two sentences on the bottom of page 128. See, not only talked about it, he believed it. Well, what he said was so powerful. When last time anybody say this? Come on, come with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take you to the promised land. I mean, that's what he was saying, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it. They're out there taking that walk. And he was so engulfed in imagine what his life's going to be like. The couple turned around and went back to the house. He found himself walking by himself. And then on page 129, I'll read the, let's say, paragraph down. He stopped walking. I looked around. I was alone, top of the page. I looked back up the long driveway, but there's no one in sight. And the floodlights were coming on. And as he walked up there, it says later, that lasted a little bit, that paragraph, there was a large piece of paper placed beneath my windshield wipers on my car. I walked over to lift it up and to free it and read it, the handwriting note. And this is what it said. You're welcome to spend the night. Your bed is ready, but I thought you might want to go home to be with your family. There is a cup of hot tea in the travel mug on the seat of your car. I will help. I will help you. It will help you stay awake and alert. Come to the hotel next Thursday. I'm the guest speaker. Call. I like this part. Call whenever you want. You are very special to us. Pow, pow, pow. Miss Clemens, pow, pow. Gosh. Woo, Miss Rutherford.
So, I talked about his wife, almost in the point of like the Proverbs woman of the 31st chapter, because she was so understanding. But by this time, the couple, so complete within themselves as a unit, realized that he had learned his valuable lessons and he needed to take it back, and he needed to help his wife understand what purpose, what value, what things, what nuggets he was bringing home to her. See, it wasn't like he had a shopping cart or a trunk full of things that he had went and got. But guess what? It's stretching. I mean, I hate to say it. Well, no, I don't hate to say it. When they finally did have sacred energy exchange, which other people call sex, I bet it wasn't average. I bet it wasn't mundane. And I bet it wasn't boring. How about that?
Yep, I think everything changed. That's good. I'm going to go to chapter 15, the beginning. Now, notice this chapter starting off the beginning. Now, let me think. Why do you think it started off the beginning? Because he became a new person after that drive home. And I loved it. He said, I would never have believed them. So he went to the meeting, the hotel that Thursday, and he was so fired up. He said, and returned to the home of the great Never Marker on Saturday night. But he went to the meeting. And he woke up, his wife, she was still up, and the kids were asleep. And they talked and talked and talked and talked. They probably did what you said too, Miss Rutherford, because he was missing for a few days. And all of a sudden, he got back, and he was so excited that the next meeting he actually had attended with a guest, had two guests. And one of them was his boss. His whole atmosphere, his belief had changed. He made a complete shift in his belief. And that changed everything. That's why I believe this is called the beginning. That was the beginning of a new hymn. Go ahead, Miss Jackie Black.
Oh boy, yes, this is the beginning of a new hymn, because when we started the book, it started with the end when he was ready to quit. And he went to a meeting. And now, at this meeting, he was the sponsor of his boss. And you look at what, with his boss, how his boss had like a negative, conflicting opinions about network marketing. But by his example, it changed what he believed.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, look at that. And also going a little further back, this gentleman had brought 3 new people in. So oh boy, let me, I gotta tone down a little bit.
Yeah.
Go, Jackie.
He had an energy level different than when we first started reading the book.
Yes.
Energy level shifted. He believed in himself that I can. Why not me? As
Exactly.
we often say, why not me? I say that to myself. Why not Jackie? Anything is possible. And then it says, with the mind, what the mind can believe, you can achieve, as he
Absolutely.
said further back. And it was, to me, this was just an inspiration there of saying, okay, you can start off one way, but now this is a new beginning. And what are you going to do with it? All the
Mhm.
knowledge you learned, all the new habits, all the old ones you got rid of. What are you going to do right now? Are you going to sit on it? Or are you going to put yourself in action and
Yeah.
help somebody achieve their dreams, their goals, and be genuinely concerned about the person?
Good.
People can
Yeah.
see when you're faking it. But
Yeah.
when
They know.
someone
They can
has a
know.
genuine concern about you, oh man, that's a good feeling. Can they really concerned about me, what I want to do in life, my
Yeah.
dreams, aspirations? That you don't see that a lot.
Okay,
That
guys, we
genuineness.
can all go home. Let Miss Jackie Black can finish this up. I'm
How
gonna
they
go to
said
bottom of the page.
everything was amazing. Leave it at
Yeah.
that.
I'm gonna go to the bottom of page 134. The last sentence says this. This is exactly what you're saying. The meeting was one of the best I've attended. The reason why, because he came with a new belief to the meeting that he never had before. The
Mhm.
energy was high, which they always should be. There was humor and laughter. This is so important. And his guests saw that. And I'm going to hop over to page 135. The third paragraph says start tonight. Tonight, I'm going to show you the secret for success. Now, if you're listening very careful, you notice I said I'm going to show you the secret. I did say I was going to tell it to you. Wow. Wow, Mr. Mills. He's still vacillating in that. I think your phone's on mute, sir.
Baby.
Oh, there we go.
I'm sorry, forgive me. You've all heard the secret for success many times, and for some of you, hearing this made a tremendous difference in your lives. But for the most of us, just hearing about something isn't enough. This whole bit right here, just this whole story and what this is just going over, it is, for one, eye-opening, just from where he's been and where he's going. His posture to see him fly from a nest, uh, and I mean, this man is soaring just looking at him, just from that, he's a quick learner. Let me tell you that. For some people,
Mm-hmm.
you got to go over and over and over again. You know, fly and get back in the nest and fly out again. So to see him at this point and the way that he's speaking, that's what I'm looking at. I want to give you the whole full story, but I don't want to give you. I want you to read it. Is what I want you to do. So if you see guys
Mhm.
hear me saying sounding kind of vague, this is me piquing interest. But it's definitely a page turner.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to jump over to page 136 for time. He's talking about running alongside the bike, teach people how to ride the bike. And it was a good analogy that in the beginning it's hard. And then as they got easier and easier, he would let them, walk the bike and ride the bike. And he talked about the key is balance. And in life, you need balance. And the top of page 137, talking about balance is a state of being. Oh my God, Miss Williams.
It is a state of being. And back on 136, the comment is made, what I've learned to call what you don't know that you don't know. And that's very true. You don't know what you don't know until you suddenly know part of what you don't know. And then there's still more that you don't know that you don't know. And there is a balance. And it's that balance and that faith that he talked about previously that's coming out now.
Yeah. Thank you, dear. That's so important. I'm going to jump over to page 138, about 2/3 of the page. Let's see. It says, he introduced me to the audience and asked for a microphone for me. See, he was so confident that the network marketer was like, you're ready now. You graduated. You're ready. Here's a mic. Go say some things. And that was powerful. And before you comment, Ms. Brother, I'm going to drop down a little bit. It says, we talked about Thursday night. Thursday night was going to be his last meeting. I was quitting the business. He said he told them about the success he had and achievements, and all of a sudden he turned everything around. He told the audience about his life. Last sentence says, he told the audience about his life purpose. Ooh, that's powerful. And I had shared with him. I think this was phenomenal because he was ready. So, okay, you graduate, give him a microphone. He didn't ask, was he ready? You know, he knew the network marketer knew, here's a microphone, now go speak. Ms. Rutherford.
You know, right here, for some reason, this reminds me of a scene from Coming to America. See, the guy was up there on the stage and he was tone deaf as all get out. They gave him a microphone too. And when he got through telling them about the greatest love of all, he threw that microphone down and he said, "Set some chocolate," because he just knew that he was together. Well, in 5 short days, these networkers had done him a job. In 5 short days. Now, it's weeks for us breaking it down and disseminating it and whatever, but this book covers 5 intensive short days.
Mm-hmm.
What difference a day makes, the song
Sure
says.
does.
Well, if you can get 5 of them in succession, you can totally change your mind, change your life, and change everything that comes in around you.
Yeah, thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna, like I said, on the bottom page 130, he's talking about his life purpose, and I love it on page 139, a couple of first, second paragraph that they were celebrating, and he was toasting his glass, and he was wiping his eyes because he saw how far he came, and he respected the network marketer. And then it says, he said, I was an inspiration for him. He said, I was so proud. He was so proud of me. He called me a young master or a young Jedi, I would call it. Oh my God, I love it. And he says he visualized, I'm gonna go down to the last paragraph. He swept through his mind. He was real crystal clear, and he saw the room filled with people from the stage, but him on stage doing talks around the world. Miss Jackie Black.
Oh boy, that takes me back. Takes me back to when the world's greatest networker told him, picture him in a movie. And what did he see? This is what I got right there. And he was seeing himself now in a different light than he said that he did before. Crystal clear. And he knew even that the world's greatest networker was proud of him. And that what he had said, he was an inspiration for him, and calling him young master. That's like many of us with our children, when we see that they finally got it, whatever it is we're trying to teach them.
Yeah.
And we're like a peacock. You know, we don't have feathers that go out, but our chest goes out. We stand straighter. You know, that's my baby right there. And reading this, I said, yes. And he saw how the people were applauding. But he didn't have that in the beginning part, but he has it now. Just like with us.
Change his belief.
Change of belief from the tutelage and from being coachable, not hard-headed, being coachable. Hello?
Yeah. I'm going to jump to page 140, second paragraph. He said, I snapped out of my movie. So he was playing the movie in his mind, what he wanted. And I think everybody needs to do that. Ladies and gentlemen around the world, you guys take some time tonight or tomorrow and just sit back and what you really want. See yourself doing those things. See yourself driving that car, living in that home. Just do the exercise. I mean, think what it costs you. Nothing but a little bit of time. But plant that seed in your subconscious mind and your spirit. Plant the seed. Like I said, a lot of times I've done this my whole life and it works. And he says, I was supposed to snap I was snapped out of my movie by the greatest networker's arms, still around my shoulders, given a firm squeeze and then letting go. So he was letting them know, my good and faithful servant, you graduated. He said the last paragraph, the bottom of the page, the last sentence or so, it says, our eyes met, he smiled, and above all the cheers and clapping, I heard his booming laugh. He raised his hand and waved at me and walked out the door, Mr. Harrison Mills.
Man, you know, I really have a question for you. After creating 21 millionaires,
Mm.
you know, creating them. What is your vision and what you've seen from them going from here to there? You know, that feeling, you know, just from that perspective. And that's, I guess, is what I'm looking. This is what we're seeing from his eyes. You know, he's seeing this man go from A to B, and he's so proud. You know what I mean? Just to the point where I can walk out and just leave and go on merry little way.
Yeah. I think Miss Jackie Black kind of hit the nail on the head. It's like when your children or grandchildren do something, you're just proud of them. So you get to a point you're proud that they've done well. You know, like I was sharing with the lady this morning from the church. I said, you know what, you can tell by the fruit that you provide. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. We heard that. But it's looking back and seeing your accolades and looking back and seeing your accomplishment. Not so much for me, but to let people know that they can do it, to be an inspiration. I think we all on this call are inspiration. Ladies and gentlemen, you are inspiration as well. But once you learn something, you got to teach others to do something to help them bless their lives. And that's what this call is about. It's helping people transform themselves into that gift that God put inside of them to let out of it. And I was sharing late to church. They had a great 2 hour coming. I thought it was there an hour, 30 minutes. Man, it was 2 hours later. We're still chit-chatting. But to get to know us, and they want me to come do a segment at the church on success. And I said, wow, this is a blessing. Because as you give, God will give it back to you, press down and shake it forward and run it over. So for me, it's a blessing, but I know I'm not finished. I'm just shifting gears. I'm not just shifting gears. I'm waiting for orders up on high to fall down, you know. So
you're waiting for 22.
All right, let's jump over to the last part of the book, the eulogy. It says that the second paragraph says that Thursday night 5 years ago was the first of many, now countless, wonderful evenings. And I think because his life got changed and he was on a mission to help other people. And he had to understand it's not about you, it's about you helping them become successful.
Mm-hmm.
And if more people out there around the world would do this, guys, your check would be so big the bank would bounce. But people always trying to get what's in it for me? What's in it for me? No. And it says here later, it says on the same page 141, he builds an international organization. I'm working on my third book. Sounds familiar. My first two were industry bestsellers. So he had a reason. He found his gifts. And with that said, I'm going to read a little bit more on page 142. We'll open up for a few more things here. He said, I'm rich. I'm a millionaire. Actually, a couple of them by now. I've been to China. I've been to Japan. I've been to Russia. Lots of places I never dream of. You know, him and his wife, Kathy, took 50 kids on a trip, paid for it. See, this is what it's about. It's not about just the money. It's about blessing other people. Man, this is powerful. Miss Kathleen Williams.
This last part of the book is so enriching, and how he has been enriched and now is enriching others. That it not only is he enriching others, but his wife and his kids are enriching others. Mm-hmm. And it's because of who he has seen, and he's emulating what he has seen, but he has also seen it in his own mind for himself of what he can do to help others. So
true. And I think that's a curse we can break out of people's mind, keep saying what they can't have, they can't become. And then on page 143, about 2/3 way down the page, it says, him and Rachel moved to the plantation in Hawaii, in the islands for about 2 years ago. Spent time at Christmas every year with Bobby in school in Germany. Rebecca is not in college, but teaching her how to ride in Virginia. I mean, it goes on and on about the life they live. Because now, folks around the world, don't get me wrong, it's going to take work, but anything takes work. Mm-hmm. Being married takes work. Having kids takes work. Having a job that's going nowhere takes work. But why don't you put an hour or two a day in something around your schedule that's going to free you for the rest of your life? I'm not a smart guy. I got 3 billionaire mentors that mentioned me, and I just listened to what they had to say because they were wealthy. They had what I wanted. And this because success does leave clues. And with that said, if you're looking for an opportunity, leave your information, email below, and one of these beautiful people will get a hold of it, because we want to help you too get into something. So please, if you're looking for a great company, leave your information, the email below. We'll get to one of the guests will get to you, because we want to help you, because the world has changed today. I mean, it's changing drastically. We've been in a recession, but they don't tell you that because they don't want you to panic. And we see what's happening around the world. Come on. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting off getting off my soapbox here. And then on page 144, he talked about he was coaching kids, and he read the book about coaching 20 times. Oh my God! What, Miss Rutherford? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I got so much out of this. And the epilogue is just as juicy as 13, 14, and 15, in my humble opinion. But the one thing that really struck me was, we always talk about timing. And, here in italics, it says when the student is ready. You can have a proven system. You can have a qualified teacher. But as Ms. Black said, they have to be coachable. So when the student is ready to understand that they don't know everything in order to be successful, especially in their own business. Schools don't teach us how to think. They tell us what to think, if you let them. But when the student is ready, and he said, mine show up all the time now because he's developed a set of standards, what he is and what he is not going to go along with, and he attracts that kind of person. We can too.
Absolutely. This was so rich. This book is one of those books you can go back and read over and over and over and over and over again, because it's got so much wealth and juice in it. So let's wrap it up with a couple words from Ms. Jackie Black, a couple words from Mr. Harrison Mills, a couple words from Ms. Kathy Williams. We'll call it a wrap for the night.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and those that are listening, what's next for you? Only you can answer that. But I strongly suggest you read The Greatest Networker in the World. As I know from reading this book, I'm going to read it again because it makes you think about where you're at, what you're doing, and it may strengthen some of your strong habits. It surely will help you get rid of those old habits that aren't taking you anywhere. But I strongly suggest reading this book for yourself and enjoying it and have fun.
Thank you. Yeah, you were taking off like a rocket ship tonight. You were enjoying this. I was like, ooh, we just all just let you, Mr. Mills. Thank you, dear.
Hey, well, permission to go biblical in some sense of the word, and
Please do.
Mr. Fogg, who was the author of this book, Fogg showed us what it meant for your name to be changed. God had a way of changing someone's name: Abram to Abraham, Sarai to Sarah. Abraham meaning exalted father to father of a multitude. And so what you see is going, from something that was lineage to leadership. And we got a chance to see that, a glimpse in his eyes of doing that, of going to a place of what really is leadership. And a lot of us think it is being the boss. And it looks like he's showing us this is actually not being the boss, it's actually teaching others. Teaching other ones that to actually you can get this too. What you see, it's not just there's so much room at the top. It's the bottom that's crowded. There's so much room at the top, and this is what he's showing. Just basically a name change. So it had me think, what would my name be changed to? Where would I go? That's just a question I'm pondering. I don't have that question to answer that, but definitely a leadership name.
That was good, sir. I'm just looking at the front of the book. I just noticed the front of the book. It talked about MLM Classics, Richard Pohl's best-selling Wave 3. I was actually in that book. First time ever my name was printed in a book. That was Wave 3. And it says Wave 3 ways of building there. And then he had a Wave 4. And John Milton Fogg, like I said, I shared the stage with him before many times. Well, no, once, excuse me. But the book is rich. Ladies, you don't have to be in network marketing. You can be in real estate. You can be in any kind of business. This book is relevant to anybody in business. And I want to encourage you, get this book. A little commercial here, go to AB Books. You can get it for a couple dollars. That's why you tell my people, go get a used books, because they're inexpensive, but the knowledge. Now think about it. How long did it take this person to live this lifestyle? Think about it. And you can buy all that lifestyle that they live and read it in less than a month. couple weeks, a week, couple days, for a couple dollars. That is how that's how books are so wealth. There's a wealth in here. Mine just can't. It's a bunch of, here's how you can do this. Let me teach you this. It's all in here. And the beautiful thing is I show and tell a lot, and how I did a lot of things. My first plane, you know, and how I talk about taking the organization out for a night on the town, and we flew over from Sacramento. Here we are here in Sac, taking a plane over to Reno to go out that night and come back, and then from that plane into the big boy. So there's wealth of knowledge. It's not just my book, but you know, I'm looking at the back of the book here, and it has a couple people I just noticed. You know, Al Swiger, who does the Big Al books. I was coming up and I read his books. Great books. Bert Hedges. Well, gosh, guess what? We got Bert Hedges right here. Who Stole the American Dream? Another dynamite book. We also have Og Mandino, which I got the trilogy in my other room in there. It's one of my most expensive books, signed by him, limited edition. These are things that are so powerful, folks. So success does leave clues. We want to thank everybody tonight from around the world for tuning in on this book club. This was a fantastic book. I highly recommend you get it just for having everyday reading to help increase your way of thinking, your mindset. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. Miss Captain Williams, thank you from Sacramento. Miss Rutherford, thank you so much. Miss Jackie Black, thank you so much. Miss Harrisonville, thank you so much. Give me just one word each of you got out of the book. Give me one word, just one word to sum it all. One word.
Change.
Perfect.
Stretch.
Stretch.
Kathleen took mine. Change.
You can change too, Jackie.
You can change your change.
Harrison, darling.
Miss Mills? Huh?
Greatness.
I can hear you.
Greatness.
Oh, definitely greatness. Thank you all for joining tonight. Thank you guys for your contribution to the book and the book club tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in our next book we're going to go by. So if you haven't got it, go to Amazon and get Entrepreneur Mindset to Wealth. Get it now because that's going to be our next book we're going to be exploring. So get that book now, start reading. Ladies and gentlemen around the world, we want to thank you. Please leave a comment below. And we know about 4 or 5 of you still haven't subscribed yet. It'd be great if you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. And we love comments because we read every comment. And like I said, if you're looking for an opportunity to get involved with, leave an email below, your email information, and one of us will get a hold of you to help you start, and we help you build a business. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much from around the world. Thank you, our panel tonight. God bless you all. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.